Can you flip a house in a month? Is it really possible to flip a house in just 30 days? I've done it, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what has to go right to make it happen. You've probably heard the phrase fast money, but when it comes to house flipping, speed is not easy. I'll break down what makes a fast flip possible and what causes most flips to drag on for months. In this video, you're going to learn exactly what factors determine flip speed and how to plan a 30-day turnaround time without cutting corners. If you've been following us or follow our channel at all, you know we talk about all different types of flips, from a very simple contract flip to what's called an as-is flip, to what's called a repair flip, to what's called a cosmetic flip, to what's called a renovation flip, to what's called a value add flip. Lots of different types of flips that we cover on our channel. If you don't know about them, check them out here. But I would talk about doing a renovation flip for the illustration of this, because that's probably what you're asking. Can I flip a house in 30 days doing a full renovation? Again, the answer is yes. Let's cover the process. What you have to go through is the purchase, then the permits, then the rehab, then the inspections, and then finally, the sale. The first thing you want to do is, during negotiations with the seller, you want to have permission to get in the house before you close on the deal. Use it as part of your negotiating tool. Maybe they want $5,000 or $10,000 more for the house than you want to give them, and maybe you meet in the middle, but say, listen, I'm happy to give the extra number, but I'm going to need something from you. I need access to the house starting tomorrow. What do you mean? So I want to bring my contractors through, I want to bring my inspectors through, and I want to make sure I can do my scope of work before we start on the property. That way, the day that I close, I can start my renovation. If you do it beforehand, they will usually let you do it. If you try and ask after you sign the deal, they may not let you do it, so use it as part of your pre-negotiation to close that deal. Next, you want to put together your scope of work. Again, if you don't know what that is, check out our channel, but the scope of work is very simply the scope of the repairs that you're going to do to the property. It has everything laid out in there, including any openings you're going to make, any layout changes you're going to make, exactly what color paint goes in what room, exactly what cabinets go in, what knobs go in, everything you need to make sure that your contractor has a project Bible to follow. That way you and he are on the same exact page when you're doing the renovation. If you get that scope of work done in advance, that will give you a chance to walk through with your contractors, which is what's next. Walk through with your contractors and find out which one you're going to hire for the project. Try and schedule them in one day so you're not bothering the seller. If it's a vacant house, even better. Just get access to the house, see if you can put your lockbox on early, and then negotiate and get your contractor lined up immediately. Then let them know what your close date is on the property so they can literally start on day one of ownership. The only way to get a flip done in 30 days is to maximize every single day of ownership. Not one day can go where there's not people on that property, probably including weekends. So materials. Look, one of the things that can slow a job down is materials being delayed. Try to not have anything too custom on a job you want to move through fast. Custom material, custom cabinetry, custom countertops, things that are not off the shelf will usually take a lot longer to get done, and that will delay your job past 30 days. So try to find simple materials and buy them in advance. If you don't feel comfortable storing them on the property yet, see if where you buy them from can store them in a facility and just be ready to deliver them as soon as you need them on the job site. Here's a mistake I see a lot of new investors make in trying to do a fast flip. Don't have one contractor doing everything. If you hire one general contractor who can go out and hire all the subcontractors, that's fine, but make sure they hire enough subcontractors to get it done all at once. For instance, if you have a roof going on and you have siding going on and you have interior paint, interior work being done, don't try and have one crew do it all. Have multiple crews working simultaneously. It's like you being an orchestra director to make sure that everybody gets all their work done at the same exact time. But that's your job, is to manage this project, but have enough contractors so you know you can get it done. I'd even consider having a separate crew come in and do the final punch out, because that's all they do, and a lot of times punch out drags on forever with the main contractor. So consider having a punch out contracting crew come in. Okay, so you ask, what's a punch out crew? Well, a punch out crew comes in and does all the little miscellaneous things that are not big, but they have to be done. It could be a piece of trim that's missing. It could be a cracked window over here. It could be a section of paint that had to be redone a second time. It could be hooking up the refrigerator. It could be very simple things that in and of themselves are not big tasks, but when you compile 30 of them, it becomes a multiple day task. And here's the thing, the main contractor doesn't feel like it's worth their time to do it, so they don't really show up to get it done. That's why in the scope of work, you have to be very clear about how you pay contractors. Don't ever pay them in advance and leave enough money at the end so they show up and do the punch-out work. Ask me how I know that. But in case you want to make sure you get the job done in 30 days, have somebody on standby in case they don't show up so you can get it done. Okay, permitting. Now, we always encourage you to get permits for whatever's required for that town. So make sure you know what's required in your town for permitting. Some towns require it for breathing. Some are much more lenient and let you do even cosmetic, even cabinetry and flooring without a permit. But make sure you know what is acceptable in the town that you're flipping your property or the city that you're flipping your property in. If they require a permit, go explain to them you're buying the house and you want to see if you can get your permit in advance before ownership. A lot of times they're not going to let you do it. But I have seen circumstances where they've let you get all the paperwork in place, the approval is ready as soon as you own it. So you may have to own it, call them right away from the attorney's office and say, we own the property, bring the documents to them, they can stamp it and let the job begin. So make sure that you know in advance what you have to do to speed up the permit process. So what can cause delays? Well, contractors, as you know, can cause delays. So you have to make sure you're managing them like a boss. Materials, like I said, can also cause delays. So make sure that you are on top of having materials delivered to that job site the day they need them. If you are supposed to have sheetrock done in a house at a certain room at a certain day and the sheetrock doesn't show up that day, just cost yourself a day. So make sure that you are on top of scheduling, or whoever does it on the job is on top of scheduling so that we don't have materials as an excuse of not finishing in 30 days. Obviously, permitting can slow down your project if you don't have the right permits in place before you start. And the most important thing that a lot of new investors do is they overcomplicate the renovation process. They try and change gears midway through, make something look a little bit prettier than it should be, put a little more time over here because they want to make something look a little bit better, and they forget to realize that every time they add something extra on, like, hey, put an outlet over here or put a different light in over here, it adds more time to the job, and it does add up, and it will knock you off your 30-day budget. The third flip that Amber and I ever did back in 2008, we did all the work ourselves. Please don't ever do that, by the way. But we had to learn the hard way because it wasn't a great experience. But anyways, what I did was we did that entire renovation in 30 days, start to finish. Every single night, I went home with a checklist. I walked around the house and said, what did I get accomplished today? Check, check, check. What do I have to get done tomorrow? And I left open boxes. And the next day, I would check off what I got done and leave the box. And I used that checklist like a Bible every single day, and we finished that flip in 30 days, start to finish. So, is it possible to do a renovation where you don't do the work yourself and be done in 30 days? Well, I have one that not only did we finish the renovation in 30 days, we had the entire house sold in 45 days from purchase price and closing all the way to renovation and sale price, 45 days start to finish. We did exactly what I just told you. The day that we closed on the house, we called our contractor from the attorney's office, who we had already met at the job site, and said, we're good to go, you can start the job. This is about 10 o'clock in the morning. He said, good, I've already demoed the bathroom. Thank God we closed on that house. That would have been awkward. Okay, so we started the renovation process on day one within 30 days, including putting a new septic system in this property and removing the old metal oil tank in the yard. We had the entire job done because we had multiple contractors on the job. We finished the house and sold it and closed on it 2 weeks later because the buyer had a lot of cash and they were already pre-qualified for their mortgage. I chose the right buyer. We were in and out of that house in 45 days, start to finish, and made a $45,000 profit. That was a beautiful thing. To this day, I've not duplicated that kind of speed, including closing times on both ends, but man, when you can do it, it's incredible. So speed starts with clarity, and clarity starts with knowing exactly what kind of house you should buy. After 1,200 flips, I can tell you I know the best kind of house you should buy. Matter of fact, we put that in what we call our buy box. I want you to define your buy box so you know exactly what you're buying to turn that buy box into profits. How do I learn what my buy box is? Well, click on the link below and go to my buy box training so you can be a successful flipper out of the gates and get those houses done in 30 days if you buy the right house that was in your buy box.